In this video, I want to speak about dreams and dream interpretation. In particular, how we might incorporate the ancient practice of dream interpretation for our own contemporary lives. So, to begin, a quotation from Marcia Norman. She is an award-winning playwright and screenwriter, and she writes, "Dreams are illustrations from the book that your soul is writing about you. Dreams are illustrations from the book that your soul is writing about you." I love that quotation because it's so short, but it contains so much wisdom in it. So I want to take each of the elements in that quotation one by one, unpack them, and then kind of reveal an entire philosophy of dream interpretation. So there were three elements in the quotation. There was soul. This is the book that your soul is writing about you. And then third, the illustrations from the book that your soul is writing about you, which is what she defines as dreams. So let's take each of those one by one. Number one, soul. What is soul? Now this is a huge topic. It's vast. There are entire books written on this topic. But for a simplest definition, I would say soul is the unique personal essence of each of us. Soul is what makes each of us uniquely ourselves. Soul is what makes you, you. And soul is what makes me, me. And soul is what makes someone else, them. It's what's distinct, singular, irreplaceable, utterly unique personal essence of each of us. That's soul. So that's number one. What is soul? Number two, the book that your soul is writing about you. This is a very rich and evocative way to refer to what most people talk about as their soul calling, their higher path, their destiny, their vocation, their purpose. The idea there is that the soul is kind of the author of our deepest story, that amidst all the characters, amidst all the events, all the experiences of our life, there is some deep underlying thread, there is some deep underlying narrative. And the idea is we can start to learn what it is, and we can start to align our lives in relation to this deep storyline. So that's number two. So then number three, and this is most important for our purposes here in this video, the illustrations from the book that your soul is writing about you, and those are dreams. So imagine a scenario that you pick up a book and it's written in a language that you can't speak or read, and yet there's a series of pictures or illustrations in the book. You might be able to pick up quite a lot of the information of that book, quite a lot of the story and the plot of that book by the illustrations alone. And in a similar way, working with our dreams allows us in a very beautiful, simple way to come into contact with the deep storyline that our soul is writing about us. So dreams are illustrations from the book that our soul is writing about each of us. And that immediately raises the question then, how do we understand the illustrations in the book of our soul? How is it then that we interpret our dreams? And that's what I'd like to talk a little bit more about here. So dream interpretation in one form or another has been practiced throughout essentially all human cultures, multiple spiritual traditions, throughout all of human history, including in the present moment, because dreams are fascinating, dreams are mysterious, dreams are elusive. And this video is to help introduce an offering I'm making as part of my larger work to assist you in interpreting your own dreams. And I really want to underline that working with you, assisting you in interpreting your dreams. Because your dreams are illustrations from the book that your soul is writing about you. They're not illustrations from the book that my soul is writing about me. So I take very seriously in dream interpretation that it's my role to help offer some possible interpretations, but ultimately you are the decider for yourself as to the meaning of your dreams. So here's how it works. You send me a dream, an evocative dream of some kind. It might be a recurring dream. It might be a very powerful dream. It might be a dream that feels very confusing, or you're not sure what the meaning is, but that you sense there is some meaning. It could even be a kind of dream that's haunting or terrifying or really confronting or dissonant. but a dream with some pop, a dream with some juice. So you send me this dream. I then sit with your dream, and it will start to reveal to me possible forms of interpretation. It will also reveal to me, just as importantly, ways that you might be able to work with the dream in your waking life. I call this embodying or practicing your dreams. So let me give you an example of that. Let's say you have a recurring dream. And in the recurring dream, you keep encountering an obstacle. So you've heard these stories of people have dreams and they keep coming up against some kind of a wall, or there's something chasing them and they're always running away, but they never feel like they totally get away. Some kind of recurring dream in which an obstacle of one kind or another is encountered and the person, you or someone, is unable to overcome that obstacle. Well, in that case, we would offer some interpretation, but I would also offer possible practices in the waking world that you could learn to overcome that obstacle, and then the dream can move forward, or the dream can even end altogether. So this is what I mean by both an interpretation side, but also a working with your dreams side. And we do both in this work. So you've sent me this dream, I've sat with it. It's revealed possible layers of interpretation as well as possible practices. I record myself as if we're in a room talking together, and I talk through the possible lines of interpretation and practice for your dream, and I send you the recording. You then listen to it a few times, you digest it, you can take notes, you can write down any questions you have, and you email those to me, and then I'll be happy to respond to them. In this way, the dreams become lived symbols and realities. They're not just something over there that we then sort of just interpret, and it's like, okay, I got it, and now I'm done with it. The dream is still a living reality, especially if it's a powerful or evocative dream, and it has some kind of way to still be worked with. Dreams are illustrations from the book that your soul is writing about you, but those illustrations are not necessarily in their final form. They're not necessarily written in stone. They can be edited, added, deleted, modified, changed, worked with. And that's really what I want to emphasize in this specific way of doing dream interpretation. How to hear both the layers of meaning that are in the dream, and then how also to work with the dream as a continued living, deep, experiential reality. So that is the basic offering. There's all kinds of information on the website about logistics. If that's of interest to you, please contact me and I'll be happy to do that. I have worked for a long time with people learning about the language of their souls. I think of myself as something of a soul interpreter. So my role here is to help you decode and understand the illustrations from the book that your soul is writing about you. Dream work and dream interpretation is a really beautiful, easy entry point into the deeper process of soul work, which is about learning the deep storyline that your soul is writing about you and learning to be a co-author, a co-creator with your soul of your own deepest truth. Dreams are illustrations from the book that your soul is writing about you. Thanks for your time and happy dreaming, everyone. Peace. Bye for now.